Hey guys, in this video, we're going to talk about wholesaling with self-directed IRAs. It's something you need to learn about if you're going to be a wholesaler because there could be traps waiting for you. All right, let's get started. Okay, so why did I want to cut a video on wholesaling with self-directed IRAs? Well, it really had to do with my partner, Toby. He went to teach an event down in Florida, and there were a lot of wholesalers at this event that were making really big money. And it came up during the presentation where some of the wholesalers were actually doing deals inside of their self-directed IRA. But I got a call from Toby, and he said, hey, have you heard about people doing wholesales on self-directed IRAs before? And I said, yeah, I've heard about it, but the details are what's so important. Now, here's the problem, all right? Many people will set up a self-directed IRA, right? So you get your IRA set up, and you will roll in your existing funds. And the reason you want to wholesale through here, because it's a way you can make tons of cash from a relatively simple, making some offers, turning those offers over to someone else, and then all the cash runs back into here. And that's exactly what these wholesalers in this class were doing. They were going out and they're finding deals, and they get a house under contract, right? They get this house under contract that they enter in the contract with the seller of the property. Then they'll assign the contract to their self-directed IRA, which in turn will sell or assign it to the individual buyer over here. Now, there's a problem here. This is called a prohibited transaction. Because in this type of scenario, if you're wholesaling with a self-directed IRA, what you're doing is you're entering into the deal individually, okay? On behalf of your, not on behalf of your IRA, but on just yourself, and then you're assigning it over. You're making a contribution of that contract to the IRA. That is the first problem. If you're going to wholesale through self-directed IRAs, you cannot set it up this way. It will blow up your IRA, and all of the income or assets you have inside of there will immediately be distributed to you. You'll have to pay income tax on it, early withdrawal penalties, penalty taxes. I mean, you want to lose 65, 70% of your IRA? Go down that road. Okay, so we talked about that, and we got this straightened out with some of the people. And then another investor would come up and he would say, well, hey, I'm not doing it that way. I'm doing it a little different. I'm actually making the offer in the name of my self-directed IRA. So in this case, the IRA owner here would contract on behalf of his self-directed IRA to buy this house. So the IRA would go on the purchase and sale agreement, okay? Then the IRA would flip the property over to the end buyer, okay? And then the buyer is going to come and close on the deal. So let's say they make a $10,000 wholesale fee off of this deal right here, paid by the buyer who pays the money to the self-directed IRA. Question to me was, problem. Well, actually, in this case, it doesn't solve it as well. There's two issues here. So in this particular scenario, what's going on is that the IRA owner is the one out there putting these deals together, okay? The income itself, the $10K, that is not being generated from an investment. See, with an IRA, the income, the appreciation in assets, it comes from things external of you. It's not through your efforts. Here, I mean, some people say, well, Clint, you can trade in the stock market. You're making the trades. That's through your efforts. No, you're making the trades, but the effort or the income comes from the rise in the stock value. That's where the money comes from. Here, it comes from you negotiating with the seller and then negotiating with the buyer, putting two people together and getting paid for your services is what you're doing. You're getting paid for your services because this doesn't happen in a vacuum. It'd be completely different if you entered into an agreement, tied this property up under contract, and there was somewhere where these things are listed and somebody came along, they saw it and they wanted to buy it and they bought it off a board somewhere. Possibly that might work. But in this scenario, it ain't going to fly. So you would be considered to engage in a prohibited transaction with your IRA, even though you entered in the contract with the seller through the IRA, because it's your services. That's problem number one. Problem number two in this scenario. Wholesaling is considered to be active income. So not only do you get hit with a prohibited transaction, PTs on this, you're also going to get hit with UBIT, unrelated business taxable income, okay, or UBTI. It's different than UDFI, unrelated debt finance income, that I talk about with using IRAs to purchase assets that are leveraged. This is unrelated business taxable income, and it means this. Your IRA, which is a tax-deferred or possibly tax-free entity, can't engage in an active business. Wholesaling is considered to be an active business. And some people I've had will argue with me on it. So I was talking to a wholesaler, he goes, no, it's not, Clint. It's not an active business, it's passive. Wholesaling property, it doesn't require me to go out there. I'm not paying wages on this. I said, well, you should. But let me give you another scenario here to think about. You yourself are engaged in wholesaling on the outside of your IRA, right out here. So you're making money wholesaling, active business. Then you're doing the same activity through your IRA. It's an active business out here, but why is it not an active business in here? It is. It's in both places. In fact, if you're doing it outside of the IRA, you've even made it worse for yourself because it's so easy now for the IRS to walk up and say, yeah, look at you making the act. Here's your business, and you're doing the same business through your IRA. All subject to tax at 37% on all your income. So first what they would do, they tax you on your income at 37% because it's subject to UBIT. After they do that, then they say, oh, you engage in a prohibited transaction. So now you have to pay personal income tax, penalty taxes, and early withdrawal taxes on pulling that money out. Oh my gosh. You figure that out, you're probably losing 85, 90% of your IRA because you decided to wholesale through it. Now, you come to this channel because you're looking for solutions. So is there a clean solution to do this? Well, I thought about it a lot, and there really isn't a real clean scenario here, how to put this together. I mean, if you wanted to kind of wash it a bit, there's two ways in which I could see doing this. All right, the first would be to create a limited liability company, have an LLC set up, and this LLC that you've set up is the entity that deals with the sellers, all right? And it's also the entity that deals with the buyers, okay? So you're gonna run it in this scenario here. Now, does this get us out of UBIT? No, it doesn't. If it ever got looked at, they could say UBIT because there's a business activity here, an active business activity is taking place. Because this is owned 100% by the IRA, it's looked through, the IRA is considered to be engaging in that business itself. Does it get us around the prohibited transaction, though? So forcing the IRA to be distributed out to us? Possibly. Because now when you're engaging in this transaction, you're doing so as a manager of your LLC and not as the IRA participant. I know we're splitting hairs, but it's important to recognize the distinction. So I think that's closer to finding protection, but is there a better way? Yes, but it's not going to help save you on any taxes because the other solution would be to set up a LLC tax as a C Corp and have it owned 100% by your self-directed IRA. And now you engage in this scenario. You're not going to run into the unrelated business taxable income issue because the C Corp is the business. It's going to pay tax on the money. So if you made $100K here, you're going to pay tax at 21%. So where's the benefit for the IRA? Well, if you make a dividend to the IRA, then that dividend that comes down, say that's the remaining $79,000, that's not going to be taxable to the IRA. So now you've avoided anything to do with UBIT. You're also going to avoid the prohibited transaction, most likely in this scenario. So that would be even a cleaner way, but it's not going to be the best tax advantage way for the IRA to earn the money because you will have to pay tax at 21%. Now, one last thing I want to leave you with here that you have to consider. So with the recent changeover with the election where the Senate now is 50-50, well, it's controlled by the Democrats, it's put them in charge of the committees. And so on the Senate Finance Committee, now there's been a shift, and it's gone back to a gentleman out of Oregon that previously ran it, and his focus, or one of the areas of which he focused on, if you look at my old videos, I used to talk about this, has to do with IRAs, especially self-directed IRAs. And 5498, that form that the custodians use to report transactions inside of IRAs, well, they may go back like they used to under the prior or previous administration to Trump, the Obama administration, when the Senate had control. They were focusing in on real estate transactions inside of IRAs. And the way they do that is by looking at 5498 and making a determination to see if that IRA owns an interest in an LLC, a corporation, real estate contracts, private debt instruments, anything like that that's not a security. That has to be reported. So if you're in this situation, I think your best scenario is, if you don't have a Roth, get out of the IRA and roll into a pension plan, a qualified retirement plan like a solo 401k, and then engage in this type of transactions. Because here's the thing, if your solo 401k was audited, it's not going to blow up your plan. Number one, you won't blow your plan. IRAs get blown. First mistake you make, game over. Not with solo 401ks. The second thing is, typically they're not audited. There's no reporting to the IRS on the types of transactions that I'm referring to. Yes, you have to file annual 5,500 if you have over $250,000 in assets inside of your plan, but it's not scrutinized. So if you're a wholesaler and you want to make money inside a retirement plan, your best bet is to structure it properly, or better yet, get into a solo 401k. All right, guys, this was wholesaling and self-directed IRAs. I know I kind of went this way and that way on it, but the reason why is it's so important to appreciate the risk associated with this activity. Hey, before you go, if you like the content on my channel, be sure to subscribe below and check out my other videos. If you're wondering about how to trade or utilize retirement funds to invest in real estate, I've got a playlist just specifically devoted to self-directed IRAs and solo 401ks. You can find that on my channel. Tons of information here available to you if you're a real estate investor and you're wondering, how to take advantage of real estate and use business entities. Thanks for watching.